All right, well, I didn't plan on making this many parts concerning this issue, but what transpired that night did go on for quite a while. And like I said, you know, so many people being involved, there were a lot of things brought up, a lot of things discussed. What I want to talk about, which I just thought about, and I guess the reason for me bringing it up and making another video and still revisiting this issue is that I worry that, and I question our level of our faith, our level of belief, and the things that we are able to believe in. You know, as I've said before, if you are going to be a person of faith, a person of belief, then why not believe in great things? You know, if you're going to have any belief whatsoever, why not make it great? You know, why not make it of high quality? So one of the guys that said to me, he asked me if I can imagine how bad this world would be if not for the grace of God. And he was putting it forth as an argument, as a proof that God exists, the God of the Bible is true, and that if not for his grace, that this world would be in a worse condition. And you have to stop and think about that. It's like, really? Really? It is only because of the grace of God that this world is only as fucked up as it is? It is only through the grace of God that it is only every 3.8 seconds that a child starves to death? It is only because of the grace of God that there aren't more children who die because of war, who die because of disease, because of famine, that more people wouldn't be dead because of famine and disease and things of that nature, that we have to be thankful and lucky that we are under the grace of God, because it would be quite worse. I mean, to believe that, like I say, I question his level and deepness of belief and faith. Once again, it could be true, but you have to believe it first. You have to believe that it's true for it to be true. And once again, he's putting his belief first instead of examining truth, the truth of our pain and suffering, and then examine that, and then be able to come out and say, well, you know, it could be worse. Well, sure, it could be worse, but to say it could be worse and that thankfully, and it's only by way of grace of God that it isn't worse, it just shows a lack to me. In my mind, to me, it just shows a lack, because I believe much greater than that. It's not because of grace of God. It's because of our human failings that we are this way. Because the truth is because this world is this way. You know, it's like somebody being convicted of some charge, you know, by a jury, and the judge has a choice of giving him life in prison without the possibility of parole, or giving him death. And the judge gives him life in prison without parole. And then somebody saying, well, lucky by the grace of the judge, he got life instead of giving him a death penalty. Because for me, life in prison is worse than death. But I know that that's the mindset of most people, most criminals, that they rather spend the rest of their life in prison with no freedom, in a situation, in an institution, in a place where they have to literally worry about their safety at every second of the day, never knowing that that person walking towards them may be walking towards them to kill them. I mean, this is worse than out on the streets. You sort of have to worry about that every day on the street, but this is exponentially more dangerous and more probable being in prison. You never know. It's hard to trust anybody in prison. It is truly the strongest survive. It's truly a jungle. And to say that, you know, the judge show much grace and giving them that and send them to that instead of death is a good thing. It's just it's not sensible to me. I said to rather spend your time there in a situation where it greatly messes with your mind and your well-being, your psyche, is better than being put to death. And it's amazing we have such a fear of death, especially the people of faith, the people of belief. It's like they have such a fear of death, and yet such great things are supposed to happen for them in death. But yet they fear it. They do all they can to keep from getting there, going there until they have no choice. So like I said, it just, if not for the grace of God, just think how this world would be. Yeah. Just think. And so in essence, in a way, isn't he saying that things can't get better? Because if by the grace of God, under the grace of God, the things aren't as bad as they could be, then that means that they're only as good as they should be. Thus, God doesn't want things to be any better right now. Which to me goes back to a lack of belief. If you are going to believe that we are under the grace of God, if I was to believe that we was under the grace of God, then I would say that under that grace, it means that we can achieve salvation, that we have the power to create salvation, to rise, to raise ourselves to higher and greater things. That's what I would choose to believe. Once again, quality of belief, not quantity. And really, I guess it goes back and relates to the fact that when I've asked Christians if they can believe in heaven or earth, most, if not all, have said that they only believe it in the sense that it's going to happen when Jesus returns. Or there are actually some that say that heaven or earth can't be achieved because the Bible says the heaven and earth is separate. And then there are Jehovah's Witnesses who say that when Jesus returns, there will be a kingdom here on earth and a kingdom in heaven. And there will be some people here on earth and some people in heaven. But here on earth, it will be as in the condition of heaven. Utopia. But like I said, in talking to Christians, they cannot believe that we can achieve it. They believe that humans are too flawed, too broken to even try. It's impossible. And it is only by way of Jesus and only by way of Jesus returning that this can be accomplished. So why even try? So basically they are resolved to accept things as they are, and that one day, someday, in the future, things will get better. I guess ultimately, no matter how long it takes, no matter how many thousands of years, they will still stay under the mindset of that we can't do anything to get better. But one day, when Jesus returns, things will get better. But as of right now, we should be happy that we are in the grace of God, and things are worse than they are. But they can't get better. We can't even attempt to get better. We shouldn't even try to believe that it can get better. That is, in essence, what they are saying. But you have to believe greater than that. You have to. You have to. As we look over the world landscape, maybe the truth is we are greatly flawed. That the present condition of the world is the best that we can do. That we can't do any better. But see, that word can't, I don't allow my children to use that word can't. For there is no such thing as can't. Can't denotes impossibility. and there is nothing that is impossible. For after God and through God, all things are possible. And so as I tell them, it is more accurate and more appropriate to say that something is difficult. It is very difficult for you to achieve at this time, but possibly with help or with hard work, it can be achieved. But you must first believe. So, understanding that and understanding that, at this point in time, it is very hard for us. But we must believe that if we work hard and if we believe and with the help of each other, that we can achieve great things. We can create heaven on earth. But we must at least believe.